Hello, guys. Welcome to another video with me, Bobette. Today we are going to be interviewing a very dear friend of mine, an absolute fantastic comedian. His name is HyenaScreech. He is the owner of Out of Pocket Comedy. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your group, Hyena?
That out of pocket comedy? Sure. We do comedy every Friday at 10 p.m. EST. Every third Saturday is a showcase, which is our specific handpicked comedians. But before that, every other Friday is going to be, well, every Friday is just going to be open mics. And you can go up, do 3 minutes if you want to do that. It's a pretty easy group to find. Just out of pocket comedy in groups, you'll find it pretty quick and easy.
So, what got you into comedy in the first place, if you don't mind me asking?
What got me into comedy? Loaded question, but in terms of comedy and VR, I just kind of showed up to a comedy club one day. Did comedy one time as I figured it'd be a fun thing to try, and then I just immediately got hooked on it. It's a drug when you make people laugh like that. It kind of fuels you in a positive way, I guess. So I just enjoyed making people laugh the first time, and then I just kept doing it, and now I really don't see a life without it. So.
Aww. How long have you been doing it for?
Comedy, like stage work in general, I've been doing for probably a decade, but strict stand-up comedy probably for about 2 years, maybe less.
One of the things that I really respect about your group is one of the first groups on VRChat that I came across that literally was you can get up and it's complete freedom of speech. And, you know, if you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. What was it that made you decide that you were going to base your group on these rules?
I feel like comedy just shouldn't be limited. Comedy should never be limited, and like yeah, some things are too far and some jokes really suck, and some comedians are fucking terrible. But that's okay. Basically, that's what an open mic is for. You go up and you learn. And if we kicked every John Doe or Heather off a stage, like whatever you want to name them, if we kicked everybody off a stage when they did bad or did something that people found offensive, then we wouldn't have any comedians. Like people wouldn't have time to learn. They wouldn't get a chance to learn. They wouldn't get a chance to develop. I personally have Punchline Comedy to thank because they run a similar rule, and they didn't get rid of me when I was doing terrible, and I was able to learn and do proper comedy over time. Yeah, just based on that principle alone, I think everybody has a chance to learn, and sometimes people just start off rocky. But I also believe that freedom of speech is really important, and quite frankly, people have asked, does that hinder my stage negatively? Like if somebody did a certain way, would that make people stay away forever? Maybe, but ultimately, most people, if they consider the whole thing like they should, they wouldn't look at it as me doing that. I provide a stage for people. They can choose to do bad or not. That is not a reflection on me as a character. So, that's up to that. I do provide writing sessions though for people that want to learn, and hopefully they won't do that again. But that's all it is. It's a learning process for everybody, and that's why it's a freedom of speech stage. Because without freedom, we wouldn't learn. Yeah, I'm still learning every day at this point.
That's very true. That's very, very true. But you didn't always do, in terms of your chart, you didn't always do comedy. You used to do dancing, isn't that correct?
Oof, yeah. We're going deep. yeah, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
How long have
I did
you
a
been
lot of
on your
dancing. I
chat?
did. Yeah, about 5 years, probably going on 6 here soon. I'm
So
not old, I promise.
you started off as a
Yeah.
dancer and then moved to comedy.
Oh. I started off as a freaking weirdo, like everybody else, just confused as to what's going on. And then I found dance clubs and was like, "Oh, this is pretty freaking cool. This is pretty cool. I might as well try it." So I did it. I tried it. I was also in theater a lot, so I already knew how to dance whatever way you wanted me to. And I was like, "Well, that's different, And I'm also autistic as hell, so I don't really like being touched and everything. But VR is different. Like somebody comes up and goes, I'm like, I'm not gonna freak out about it. So I just felt like it was a cool thing to do, and it was fun, and I knew how to do it, and yeah, no.
How did you find your first experiences in VRChat? Like your first couple of months, was it positive? Was it negative?
I was positive. 6 years ago, like 5, 6 years ago, VRChat was not the way it is today. It was either normal people or absolute weirdos and troll avatars. Like if somebody had a troll avatar back then, more than likely they made it. So they might have been a troll, but they weren't a jerk or anything like that. They were just like, look at this stupid thing I made, and then that's where the whole Ugandan Knuckles thing came up, and it was like, holy freaking crap! Like, that was a plague. But most people are actually really chill. After it all, I don't know. It was really chill, and then there was like, nowadays the secret underground stuff is more like, you're 18 plus behind doors, everything like that. It probably still goes on today, but a lot of the shit was like family stuff, where this ginormous like quote unquote family that people had, and if you want drama, find that. That's where you'll get it. I spent some time in that jail cell, and I got out. I did my time. I'm good. Try not to get too connected to people on VR anymore, just because of that alone. People here love to find drama, at least in those scenarios. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about your time now in VRChat? Like, how have you seen it change over the years?
Have I seen it change over the years? That was my cat. Over time, well, I didn't want to throw. She's like disabled, so I didn't want to. Like most of my cats, I'm good. But have I seen it change? Quite honestly, I think a lot of people have discovered VRChat that shouldn't have discovered it. Unfortunately, the thing about VRChat now is that it has become one of those communities where it has all ages in it, and over time, it has attracted some pretty bad people into it. Without even a background check. You can definitely 18 plus verify in this game, but you still don't have a background check on you. And so there's some pretty interesting people that come here knowing they can come here without consequences. And at the beginning of VRChat, you could know somebody pretty well and it was fine. But nowadays, you really don't know who is who anymore. And that's kind of where it's gone from. It's gone from a social experience that you could just get on and have fun and stuff like that to a situation where you actually have to be really, really, really careful. I mean, It's not even adults that are bad. Like there is a person posing to be 19 that was 16 years old, and all they would do is go around and seeking intercourse with adults and stuff like that. And even after I banned them from my club and everything, because somebody told me, I was like, I banned them immediately. Because they showed me messages of it, and I was like, "Holy crap! That's an underage predator. That's scary, and that's what this game has down these days. And that's really scary to me. So I try my best to steer away from most things anymore. Like I said in the beginning, you could talk to people. Nowadays, it's really hard to just know who you're talking to.
Yeah, exactly. I hope this age verification thing though is going to help, like Killer Up. Like I've always said, my biggest goal with doing like what I do in VRChat is to shine a better light on VRChat, because yes, there's all of those things. There's definitely 100%. It is the internet. Anywhere on the internet is going to have these horrible things, both sides. But there's also so much good and so much positivity and so many amazing people and so much talent here in VRChat. But unfortunately, all that anyone's ever sees is you go onto YouTube right now, you type in VRChat, what comes on? Trolls, predators, all sorts of negative. So we need more positivity within VRChat. It's very hard to get.
I completely agree. We need people to see the good stuff about it, and unfortunately, in a 13 plus game, please, for the love of God, unfortunately, in a 13 plus game, when you show these dance clubs and all this other stuff there, people will be like, "Wait, can't kids go there?" And it paints a really bad light on VRChat, you know. And I've advocated for this game to be 18 plus for years now, like years now. Like, for the love of God, make it 18 plus only. If they're not 18 plus, just get them the hell out of here and just be done with it. So I hope that after they get their verification process fully fledged out and then they decide to go 18 plus, because stuff is getting ridiculous. And I think that a lot of the stuff that happens that ruins this game right now are trolls. So I hope that does solve the problem, because there are wonderful places to go. Unfortunately, most people's first experience is the Black Cat or something like that, and they're
Yeah,
like, I don't want to be here.
exactly.
Yeah.
I actually went to an age verified Black Cat instance yesterday, and like everybody was just hanging out, having conversations. Yes, there was the odd flirtatious joke or whatever, right? You know, somebody running around in their boxer
As
shorts,
adults
big
do.
fucking whoop-de-woo,
Yeah.
right? But besides
Yeah.
that, everyone was like super chill. Everybody was like going up to like everyone in the instance and talking to everyone, even if they weren't part of their friends groups, you know, and everybody was just having a really, really good time. And I'm like, this is what age verified instances are going to be like. How fucking yeah. I am 100% for this. And I also found out apparently you do not need to have VRChat Plus. There are still groups that have links that are doing the age verification.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
you go to one of these groups, contact me. My friend Gigi has been giving out links, trying to get everybody to go this route. Get one of those links and you will be able to do the age verification thing and get into the age verified instances. That's why I've decided my group is going to be 18 plus verified from now on, because I do bars and stuff like that. Because
There you go.
I think we're never going to have this VRChat just 18 plus. That's not going to happen. But what we can
I
have,
wish. I don't think it will either, but
exactly, what we
yeah, I
can
wish.
maybe have is like a separation between the two, and age verified instances could potentially be that separation. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Mm, yeah. I mean, it's not as big of an issue for me running a comedy club, because it's just me and my buddy Calvin. Shout out Calvin. He's the employee of the month this month, because he's the only employee, and so he's the employee of the month every month. But when we have a very quiet crowd, it's very easy to tell when there's a kid in there, and we're just gonna just immediately delete them and go on about our day.
You also do, I often forget about this, you also do music, don't you?
A little bit here and there, yeah.
How long have you been doing that for?
Maybe 3 or 4 years now. It's not a huge hobby of mine. It's just something I do every now and then because I get bored. I mean, I'm working on more stuff now, but I mean, if it is something that precedes me in the future as more than a hobby, then I'll totally pursue it. Otherwise, I like to do that kind of stuff for fun. So.
And what about doing comedy out in the real world?
Here and there, yeah, I do it here and there. There's actually a comedy club that opened up recently near me that I was gonna pop into and check out. If I get that's a scary thing. That's a really scary thing, because you have a couple avenues. That is going the original way, which is hitting every open mic you can, trying to make a name for yourself. And when they discover that you're good, they pay you a little better over time, and it's still not. There's no money to be made there. There's no money. Not only is like I've tried every art there is, and genuinely comedy is the hardest. It takes the longest. There's nobody really there to help you or hold your hand. And I guess just nobody wants you at first when you walk into a comedy club, and
Oh,
that's how it is. That's how it is. Nobody's gonna be there to hold your hand in it. It's hard. It's really hard, and comedy is so subjective that you got to somehow find jokes that can make most of the people laugh. Like, you're not gonna get every laugh. Some days you'll bomb. Some days the same exact jokes will get murder. They'll absolutely kill. It's it's a really hard thing to get into. So you can go about it that way, just like everybody else. You could try to do something like Kill Tony. Try to get on Kill Tony. The problem with Kill Tony is you start with your absolute best, and every single week you got to do something new. And sometimes you get a magical individual who's just good enough at crowd work and whatnot that they stay relevant the whole time. Like it's pretty rough. I would say it's pretty freaking rough. I'd say catch your hitch if you get a good ticket from Tony Hinchcliffe, and then he sends you somewhere, and that's how you get your hook. That's totally good. But in a realistic scenario, comedy is hard to do. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to get into. It's really hard for people to want you or get you hired onto anything. At first, like they might you're not getting paid much unless you catch a headline or a showcase or you get known. You're not getting paid much. It's really hard. And I don't get paid for doing comedy in VR. It'd be nice, catch a sponsor or something, but at that point I wouldn't really be utilizing that money as much. I'd be giving it to my regulars or putting it into the club. A lot of that would just be going somewhere else. And I wouldn't even be getting paid to be a comedian. I'd be getting paid to be a business owner.
Yeah.
And by that fortitude alone, I'd love to be able to pay comedians, because some of them are absolutely phenomenal. They're phenomenal people. But welcome to VRChat, and I don't pay anything else out of pocket. People come there, and the only thing I've paid for with is time, and the laughter and whatnot I get back pays me just well enough, and that's all that matters to me.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me interview you, Hyena. It's been amazing as always. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please comment, like, share, subscribe, all that happy, clappy social media stuff. Check out HyenaScreech, amazing musician. He makes wonderful music. Come to Out of Pocket Comedy.
I said let me get my guitar.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Roof.